You are listening to Transreal News, the finest news, forecasts, and advisories for psychonauts traveling the astral plane and beyond. I'm your host, Toby Damned. And now, the news in brief. And now, in a Transreal News exclusive, we have mounting evidence that the private necromancy firm Tool of Fala has been intentionally implanting alien parasites into the bodies of clients during the resurrection process. Stay tuned for more details from our own Yaron Yoren. Was the AI apocalypse truly averted by the occulted union of hackers? The Doomsayers Union recently deployed their own AI chatbot to help people gain quick access to prophecies, fate readings, and lists generated by the Doomsayers. The AI is reportedly inconsistent, rude, politically correct, and, to quote Damn Ego, dumber than Queel. We are still seeking information on the whereabouts of Walter Haversquirrel, who was last seen being carried off by a giant singing orange dragonfly from the ruins of Aptos during last week's superstorm. If you have information, please visit us at trans-real.stormheadproductions.ca and leave a voicemail. We may air your tip in order to help others seek Walter out. Retrograde Dynamics has begun fishing of post-human giant squid, which they have released under the brand name Puget Calamari in test markets in Texas, Arizona, Alabama, Georgia, and Alberta. Protests have fallen on deaf ears, as Retrograde Dynamics is, quote, not interested in sparing idiots or listening to them. And now, your time-space forecast with Torg Skullcrusher.
Tremble in awe, for it is I, Torg Skullcrusher, true master of the Horde, slayer of men, devourer of monsters, and the greatest of all time-space weathermen. We are now seeing readings of less than one queel in many places across the globe. Reality itself appears to be resting after the superstorm. The new normal you are seeing today is indeed normal. But take heart if you'd feel despair. Normal is a coward's ideal. To be singular and to carve a unique, indelible mark on the time-space continuum is your true calling. Speaking of time-space, we are seeing a lot of temporal glitches across the central and eastern coasts of the Americas. Be prepared for consistently feeling like it is Tuesday all day Monday, accidentally doing Sunday's chores when you could be resting on Saturday, and potential missed appointments on Wednesday. May your chronometers point you straight as a Varoxian glaive. Now, Toby, inform them.
And now, a commercial message from our partners.
Do you have a bionic limb, eye, or sophisticated brain implant that you don't want? After everything that's happened in California and British Columbia, lots of people are finding themselves changed in ways they didn't necessarily consent to. They were transformed to fit a local paradigm shift, and as reality begins to settle, they aren't turning back as they hoped they would. At Donna's Bionics Removal, we understand just how traumatizing and confusing this can be, and we want to help. Come by one of our removal clinics in Night City, Nova Angeles, or New Las Vegas, and help us help you get back to being the you that you want to be. We offer deactivation of cybernetics and the removal of bionic parts, and replace your lost tissue with cloned parts we culture from your own tissue while you wait at one of our safe, back-to-human retreats. In just 2 weeks, you'll be back to your old self again with no visible scarring or chance of rejection. Donna's Bionics Removal. Let us bring you back to the way you were.
Here at Transreal News, we have mounting evidence that Tool of Fala, the necromancers for hire that we have recently featured both in article, interview, and advertising here at Transreal, have deliberately been implanting their clients with netherworldly parasites. For more on this story, here's Yaron Yoren.
Thanks, Toby. As our listeners might remember, after my untimely death a little over a month ago, Tool of Fala is the necromantic cult that offers affordable resurrection services to the recently bereaved. In fact, my public murder and resurrection put them into the limelight not only here at Transreal News, but also on Psionics Today, Quantum Magazine, Fracture Weekly, The Tomorrow Yesterday Show, and Time. And they may also remember that I had a very difficult recuperation, including a public attack on the air, where I spoke in tongues and tentacles came out of my mouth. Here's a clip to remind our listeners. I remember that jerk Torg stabbing me, but after that, nothing until I woke up in their client reception area, which was the nicest thing you could ever have woken up to. Edna, the staff therapist, said
Aaron!
I'm okay. I'm just a little tired. Tuolafala assured me that nether parasites were a common, harmless side effect of the reanimation process, that they should be counted alongside other, simpler effects like briefly glimpsing ghosts, nightmares, reduced body temperature, waking up in cold sweats, and dry mouth. What they didn't tell me was that these parasites were causing a percentage of those infected to become homicidal. Or more to the point, the parasites became homicidal and forced their host to help them go on violent sprees, from anything as simple as eating the neighbor's pets, to full-out ritualistic murder, to berserk rampages. Here's a recording of an encounter between RCMP officers outside of Barrie, Ontario, and a parasite host. Listener discretion is advised, as this can get pretty intense and graphic.
Jesus, it just flipped a car with its bare hands. Ma'am, it isn't safe here. Please get back inside.
What is that coming out of its face?
I don't know.
Oh, my leg!
It threw a signpost right through my leg. Screw it.
I have, and will post online, archives of 37 separate reports of violence done by people who are documented Tuolafala clients. Nor are the parasites always temporary. I personally underwent a 6-hour exorcism to remove mine. Here's a brief interview with my exorcist. Could you state your name and profession, for the record?
They call me Papa Sam. I'm an Ungan and a professional exorcist. I also drive Uber.
You recently removed a parasite from me. Is that correct?
That is correct. And it was a nasty one too.
Have you removed parasites like it before?
Yes, but not like that thing. That was the nastiest brain squid I've ever encountered.
And, in your professional opinion, if you had not removed it, would it have gone away in a few weeks if left untreated?
Absolutely not. That thing was in there good and thriving, man. I think you would have died before it did.
How does one usually pick up a being like that?
I can't say for sure. I'm still trying to figure out what that one was. I was not familiar with the species. Those similar creatures are usually gained by eating demon flesh or by drinking unfiltered water in the lower planes.
Is it possible I picked it up while my soul was migrating back to my body during resurrection?
Not likely. That kind of parasite happens. But they are usually incorporeal. They don't grow tentacles.
So, in your opinion, is it possible that this creature was implanted in me?
It seems most likely, unless you've been slumming it off the earth a lot lately.
Thank you, Papa Sam. I also managed to take a sample of my parasite and have it identified by an expert in monstrous life forms, Dr. Gustav Fleischmesser. Dr. Fleischmesser, thank you for seeing me again.
Of course, my dear boy. It is a pleasure to see you again.
Doctor, could you tell me?
Not now, Timmy. I'm in the middle of an interview. Be good and you can go out and play later. Sorry about that.
Not a problem, Doctor. I was wondering if you had managed to identify the parasite I brought to you last week.
Identified? Good heavens, no. This creature has never been catalogued before. It is totally a new entity. But I can tell you where it came from.
How can you do that?
Why, it's DNA, of course. This creature bears a strong genetic relationship with... It is most certainly its spawn or a flesh-crafted servant.
And who exactly is...
is an ancient alien being of that Lovecraftian sort that shows up now and again. It is a horrible, mind-bending, and does not conform to our rules of reality or how life forms should function. Powerfully psychic, it can treat strange powers to those that please it.
And where is most influential on Earth?
He is followed by a few evil cults. In North America, he is venerated by the Brotherhood of the Tri-Lobed Eye, and by the transatlantic cult called Tul Orfala. In Africa...
Thank you, Doctor. That is what I needed to know.
I wish I had more to say. I'm afraid that Timmy here got out of his cage and ate the specimen shortly after I had verified it in my notes. You have been very naughty, Timmy.
Thank you, Dr. Fleischmesser. Not a typical ethereal parasite, but an in-the-flesh spawn of their god. Is Tulufala infecting people that come to them for resurrection with the offspring of an alien god? I can't give you positive proof yet, but listeners, I'm gonna keep digging. In the meantime, it is clear that Tulufala's services are not safe for use.
And now Clee Maxwell with the latest advisories for psychonautic travelers.
It is I, Clee Maxwell, here to play your spirit guide and help you navigate this crazy new world of ours, my loves. I get the distinct impression that resurrection services are about to become a lot more expensive. Check your insurance policies and pad that in case of death fund, my lovelies. With the Homerand Empire gone, we have a chance to do an honest-to-goodness deep-sea diving expedition among the ruins of an ancient civilization. It would appear that time dilation left the Homerids build 3,000 years of culture at the bottom of the sea in just a few weeks, and now it's ours to explore. The slime appears to be receding from some of the proximal upper planes. If you're dying to take a peek like I am, be sure to bring a means of protecting yourself from the effects of the slime. Just in case. Back to you, Toby.
You have been listening to the Transreal News, part of the Transreality News Network, your finest source for advice for psychonauts, astral projectors, ethereal jaunters, and people on serious LSD trips. From all of us to all of you, safe journeys. The Transreal News was created, directed, written, and performed by Brian C. Rideout, and produced by Stormhead Productions, and is released under a Creative Commons by Attribution, Non-Commercial 4.0 license. This episode of Transreal News included music and sound effects from Pixabay. For show notes or contact information, visit trans-real.stormheadproductions.ca or visit me on Twitter at transrealpod. Thank you so much for listening.